Ah, welcome traveler. Come in, take a seat and put up your feet. Today, we're diving into a game called Foundation, a gridless medieval city building game. This is part 10 in our multi-part series, and if you'd like to see more of this, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let's get cooking. So what's on the agenda for today? Well, there's a couple of little upgrades I want to do here and there across the city. And then we're going to look at some possible promotions for some of our citizens, as well as building another castle location. We've set up this initial area over here in the last episode, which mainly controls most of our military, but I just want to set up another castle purely for aesthetic purposes. Right, so what are we doing exactly to start off? Well, firstly, we're going to go over through to the tavern, all the way over here. And we're actually going to have a look at constructing the tavern kitchen. Now, this is unlocked through this over here, and this allows you to construct the tavern kitchen and to actually make tavern meals in exchange for boar and cheese, as you can see here. And this will boost the happiness of the villagers that are visiting the tavern itself. So I definitely want to set that up, and we're going to set it up at multiple of our taverns, so not just this one. Although this is the main one that houses visitors. So I'm quickly going to jump through on that, and we'll be right back after this little bit of a speed build. There we go. So we have those under construction at the moment. Then what I also want to do is I want to just increase our actual treasury capacity. So at the moment we're hitting that maximum very quickly, and we can't quite get above that, obviously, because it can't hold extra. So it's a good thing to just have extra capacity for that we don't have to worry about, any income going to waste. So very easy, we're just going to go over here, go through to the treasury section, which should be over there. There we go. And we're just going to throw a couple of buildings inside the structure. So let's just see what we can possibly do here. Although I think perhaps if we do put a tower in, let's just let this load. If we put a tower in, say here, this might actually look quite nice to just have one poking through the center of the building, perhaps. And then obviously we can go in and just put a couple of buildings inside. So we'll do this. Just like this, we just layer a couple of buildings over each other here. This will just increase the treasury's capacity. There we go. That should be enough. We'll say apply changes. And that should be constructed. Actually, I want to put that on a priority. Right. Now let's have a look at what else we still really need to do here. For the most part, we have completed all of the objectives that we had laid out, and we did some decorating as well. We've done a couple of little extra buildings here and there just to increase overall efficiency. We did also, between episodes, go ahead and just play around a little bit with some of the layout in preparation for today's episode. And we also went and actually did this area as well. Now this is mostly just for charcoal production now. I've gone and added in trees here, put some charcoal, these charcoal huts here. And obviously just a warehouse just to hold all the coal, because we're going to need quite a lot of that to smelt all the metals that we are currently mining out and turning it into things that we can actually use for goods. Now, what I do want to do today, other than the promotions, is I also want to look at building a castle on this little rock outcrop here in a similar fashion to this one. Now this was just me playing around a little bit with what could be done, but I want to do something a lot more impressive over here. And eventually we'll head over through to the island itself and also construct something here. But for now I'm just waiting for our charcoal hut to just clear this out. I don't want to waste these trees, I don't just want to remove them. And I don't just want to chop them down, as we have a lot of wood and planks already, whereas coal is actually something that we run low on. So I thought, let me clear it out with a charcoal hut, and once that's done, then we can come in and just disassemble this. Let's just accept these. There we go. So what we're going to do is going to come over through here to the mandates, and we're going to promote some villages to a higher status. I think this is the first thing that we'll do, and then between waiting to try get money back, we will construct little bits of this castle, but most of this time will be spent doing that because a lot of money is going to be spent promoting people. As you can see here, just to promote everyone, we can't even afford that. We don't even have half of the money to get that. That's why we needed to expand the treasury itself. So we will be looking at this, and nice thing is you can sort this out, by name, job, happiness, arrival, so forth. You can promote them to commoners. You can promote soldiers as well. You can promote also your people that are living in your monastery. Now this over here, well, I don't really know if we need to upgrade soldiers at the moment. But I do think that we should promote some of the villagers for sure. So we're going to go by, well, let's see. I would possibly like, let's just call this off for now. I would possibly like to try keep the promotions to certain regions inside the city, just to change specific houses. For example, I want these houses to be upgrading, because when you upgrade, or rather, when you promote the citizens, you will fulfill these checks here, and the house itself will change. And I'd like that to occur in this part of the city, as opposed to, say, over here, or over here, because this, I think, is perfectly fine as it looks like at the moment, but that does need to look a little bit better. So in order to do this, we'd have to go into these houses and find each of these individuals and probably go and promote them. Or we'd have to just promote everyone and upgrade all of the buildings. So a little bit of a coin flip on which way to go with that. I think initially what we're going to do is I will upgrade and promote just some select villagers, just to work through the cash itself, just until our treasury is a lot bigger. And then as money flows in, eventually we will actually have everyone promoted up one level, and then we will, for some specific select ones, take them to another promotion. So I'm going to quickly get on that, because this is going to be very tedious, jumping through to one person and making sure that they get promoted. But once that's all done, we'll be right back. And hopefully by that time our treasury will be built up, and our kitchens for our taverns will also be all done up already. Right, we'll be right back. And I actually noticed that it's a complete waste of time doing that, because as you click on these people, you'll notice at the moment it'll say that this is their home, but as soon as you promote them, they will actually lose their home. So that means they in any case will relocate to a random house that I can't choose. So it is just much better, or rather much easier, to just go through to the mandates, go through to the promote list, open this up and just go through your employees and just go yes, you, and just promote all of these one by one, as you can see I'm doing here. Now this might take some time. As you can see, we have 1,294 people living in our city. So it's going to take quite a long time to go through this, so I won't bore you to death with this incessant clicking, but we'll be back once we've actually made some progress here, or we've run out of gold, whichever comes first. Right, see you in a bit. Now, something that you could take into mind is that when you see this little arrow here, promoting this person would actually increase their current job productivity, as some work benefits more from a higher rank. So for these, for example, we could go and promote them. And then there are others that a promotion here wouldn't suit them or wouldn't benefit them, but it would increase what their housing looks like. So I think for now, let's just skip them, try to save a little bit on gold, and we will only focus on promoting the ones that it actually increases productivity for. Because as you can see, there's large swaths that we can just scroll past here, saving us a large chunk of money. And then of course we're just getting the odd ones here and there where it actually really makes a difference. Now eventually, yes, we will have everyone promoted, but for now let's just try and be as efficient as what we think we could be. Right, so we actually ran out of money, but as you can see here, it climbs really quickly. Just from one trade we made 536 gold, so it increases very quickly. It's not as if we're going to be struggling to make ends meet. And in the time that it would take to build up back to that 9,000 gold, we're going to go all the way over here, and we're going to have a look at planning out a little castle over here. So go through to the castle. We obviously can't choose the castle keep, as that's already been designated. You can only have one of these. And our castle keep, I believe, is all the way over here. Yes, as you can see here, the castle keep right there. It's actually that whole section. And you do get quite a nice little upgrade for it though. You get this specific building. If you'll just place, there we go. Quite an impressive building. Has like a little balcony area at the top to actually look down upon. And I think in the future I would probably go ahead and place it along here, just because I think that it would look quite nice to actually have this just all as one structure, filling up this gap over here. But we're not going to bother with that right this moment. For now we are actually just going to focus on this, but we have actually got a little bit of gold up here again, so I'm going to do some quick promotions again. As you see, we go through to the promotion list. We're just going to scan through this really quickly, see if there are any efficient there we go, efficient promotions over there. There we go as well. So these are just getting these people up to citizens now. There we go. There's not many at this stage, because most of them will just stay at this level. There we go. There's another one I almost missed. But it should take them up to the next rank as well. Now there might be quite a few tax collectors and patrollers, but you see at this point it gets very expensive. It's already 100 gold per promotion, but we'll get there in no time. And our house is already upgrading. So as you can see, yes, these houses are upgrading because of the promotions, but it's happening in weird places like this. Whereas I would have loved it if I could control which houses it happened to. Like this one, I believe, yes, this is also upgrading. Yes, it is. And I would have liked if I could have just controlled it a little bit more, but unfortunately not. That is part of the game being a gridless game, where you have your villagers kind of doing their own thing, deciding a lot of stuff, like the paths, for example. But it's not a train smash. Instead, we're just going to go over and start designing this again as well. And I think we're just going to build straight on a treasury. We're not going to worry too much about armories and bow encampments and things like that, because quite frankly, we have a large army already. If we look at the company list that we have here, we have 2 companies of lancers or spearmen, 2 companies of archers, 2 companies of archers, 2 companies of spearmen, 2 companies of archers, 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 2 We have swords. I think we actually have only one sword company, but that's fine. We'll get a second eventually. And we have 3 bows already. So that's plenty of military strength already as we have it. So I'm not going to worry too much about military strength, not for this encampment at least, or this castle. And we're just going to do a straight treasury with this one. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to make use of some of the pre-existing things. Just want to toggle off the snap. We're going to make use of this arch for sure, because I think that overlaying this onto this could look very nice. So it's just a little something like that. Obviously it might or is definitely glitching out initially here. It'll show as red because it doesn't have any internal access. But that's okay because we haven't built a door yet. So just trying to get that looking nice. Now obviously from an angle like down here it doesn't look too great. But if you're up here, that could look quite nice. And we just want to make sure this is as straight as possible. Yep, I think that will do. And then we can start looking at expanding this into this area. We can actually go ahead and turn this part snap on again. There we go. Something like that. Perhaps what we do is we drop this a bit. Come on. Oh, we actually can't drop it any more than that. Let's see, maybe we can raise this one up. Yes, that's what I want. Kind of want a little bit of a dip here. Because what we'll do is we'll add another building onto this side. Over here. Something, I think let's go with that orientation. Like so. Raise this up a little bit. And we'll have our castle mostly sitting inside this mountainous, this little rock outcrop here. Right, that works. And now we go and we just play around a little bit with some additional pieces here. Make it look as if this castle is actually coming out of the stone. Not just built on this mountain, but actually into this mountain as well. And making use of the inside as if it's actually tunneled in, carved inside this little rocky outcrop. Right, well while I construct that, we can just skip to a quick sped up time lapse and I'll be right back. Right, well, we have our castle set up here. Hopefully it will be constructed shortly. As you can see here, if we go into the edit building, or if we just go to visibility and turn on the construction preview. Let's just try that again. You know what? It won't actually show us. There we go. Won't show it to us sometimes. You just have to click through it multiple times. But there you go. That is essentially what we're going to be building over here. Now I've added on some just a little bit of odds and ends here and there, but we will come in afterwards and just decorate this. This is just the initial building to just get down. Let's just go and do this quickly. That's fine. We have plenty of that to trade. And we're not going to do a meeting at the moment or gathering. Right, so that will construct and we can jump back through to our promotions. Now, unfortunately, it does pause the game while you do this. But that's okay because we're not going to be taking too long. We're just focusing on getting the optimized promotions out. So there we go. Keeping an eye on that. As you can see, our total of gold that we can store has drastically improved and increased. That's most of those. These are all free promotions, so we might as well just take them. Let's just go for it right now. And I think that's pretty much everything there. So we'll conclude these promotions and we'll let our villagers actually construct this little castle now. In the meantime, we're going to skip through over to the town and have a look at what do these increased or improved buildings actually look like. So if we have a little look over here, here's one of them that's busy constructing. So the old buildings, as you can see, they were more along the lines of this. A very simplistic building, white walls, and, visible beams. So we're going to look for something that looks completely different or just slightly different, and I think this might be one of them. Yes, as you can see, we have some wooden walls, not just these plastered walls. So I think that this should be, yes it is. And we want to also have a look at these citizens. So wherever the citizens are living, that's where the best possible buildings are going to be. Now, will we find one of those? Not here. I think we do also have to have a look at the... There we go. At the paved roads. That's what I thought there might be here. Because these roads are all paved. So we'll have a little bit of a glance here. Yes, here we can see it. Here's actually a good example. So you've got the stonework in for the base of these buildings, for a lot of the wall, and then a better looking wood and plaster area for the top floor. And of course a better roof than just the straw roof. And I think this is going to actually look very, very nice once we have, a collection or a variety of these throughout, because I think, no, unfortunately there's no variation in the roof color here. Maybe there will be, but we'll have to make sure of that. But I think it will look a lot better than having all the straw housing or the straw roofed housing here in our island city, and actually have all of these buildings upgraded in the future. Not sure why it's saying housing insufficient. It might just be a little bit of an error there. Or it might be that we need to have a look at upgrading these houses as well. Although there's plenty of space here, so I'm not quite sure why it said that. A mystery. I guess we'll never know. Right, well, we'll let this build, and in the meantime, we'll let our money rake up. And I think we're actually going to go through to these promotions, and we're just going to start promoting as many people as we possibly can, just to make the buildings look a little bit better. I'm quite tired of these straw roofed houses, so we're just going to go and, promote a whole stack of people here. There we go. Just let the autosave run. Come on, there we go. Just going to let a whole group of them. There we go. I think that should be enough for now. And I think most of those people being dairy farmers and charcoal workers, most of them at least, and I think that they will live probably in this district over here. And actually, now that I think about it, we do need to look at clearing away this land. Now, I did place some charcoal huts over here just to start clearing it away, but I think if we can get this cleared out, then that will be probably what we'll be doing in the next episode, is setting up another little village over here, much in the same way that we did for this section over here. And we can have a look at maybe increasing the food production, or we could have this whole section here purely dedicated just to the lumber industry and the charcoal industry, as well, of course, to the berry collecting. Here we go, yes, these berry huts that are hidden away over here for the odd little berry bush that I've noticed that, here we go, that is actually in this little forested area. So we could have that set up for that. Because something that you always have to keep an eye on in this game is making sure that your food production is enough. So at the moment it's not looking too bad. We are still struggling on that refined food. But maybe, just maybe, let's have a look here. Not quite sure why that is. Maybe we just need a whole lot more bread. And perhaps what we'll do in the future, a little bit further down the line, is eventually we're going to come and obviously want to take over these mines over here. It's just stone and iron. It's nothing massive that we're missing out on. Or alternatively, we might want to make it across the river. And I think for that we'll probably build an entrance over here, a bridge here, span across to this side and build a little smaller village over on this side, and have all of this land over here set for grain farming again. And that way we can boost our bread production and of course get through to these mines and see what goodies are hidden here that we don't quite know about. So we can't even see what's in this rock deposit. But it could be something good. Not quite sure. We'll see that in the future. And there we go, our second castle is now complete. Well, we have unfortunately run out of time in today's episode, but in a future episode I do want to have a look at going through to here and setting up another castle over here, as well as building a very impressive structure on this little island that has been cleared out properly now. I think that that's going to be a really nice view once we can get something set up there overlooking this little bay over here. And of course we have promoted many villagers in today's episode as well. We can see so many of the houses are actually busy upgrading, and so many are already upgraded. It looks really good, I think. I'm loving the design of these little buildings. Right, but that is unfortunately all the time we have for today's episode, and we'll catch up on the rest in a future episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as that would greatly help the channel. If you'd like to be kept updated as to new videos being released, then please hit that notification bell. If you have any feedback, suggestions or requests, leave a comment below and let us know. Until next time, this is Rose Temp. Keep cooking.